Welcome to Learn English Anyways. I'm Jessica. Picture this. You see someone you want to talk to. Maybe it's a new coworker, someone at a party, or even just a person waiting for the same bus. You feel that little spark of curiosity, that desire to connect. You open your mouth to say something, but crickets. Your mind goes completely blank. I know that feeling, and it's terrifying, isn't it? Your heart starts hammering, your palms get sweaty, and you start thinking, what if I say the wrong thing? What if they don't get my accent? What if they just stare at me and walk away? That fear is a real wall, and it stops so many of us from practicing our English and making the connections we want. But what if I told you there's a way to break through that wall without a huge vocabulary or perfect grammar? What if I told you there's one simple technique that can start any English conversation, no matter your level, and it works almost every single time? It's not a magic spell, but it might be the next best thing. It's a tool that native speakers use constantly without even realizing it. And today, I'm going to teach it to you. So stick with me, because you're about to learn the secret to ditching that fear and starting conversations with real confidence. The one thing reveal. So, what's this magical technique? It's not a clever joke or a complicated pickup line. It's a simple two-part formula. Make a positive observation about your shared situation and then ask a simple question. Let me repeat that for you. Notice something positive that you're both experiencing, and then ask a question about it. That's it. That's the entire secret. Why is this so powerful? Let's break it down. First, an observation about your shared situation creates instant common ground. You're both in the same place, at the same time, experiencing the same thing. Whether you're in a long line, enjoying great weather, or listening to a speaker, you have a built-in connection. You're sharing an experience. Second, making it a positive observation makes you seem friendly and approachable. People are drawn to positivity. Sure, complaining about the long line might work, but admiring the cafe's cool decor is a much safer, more pleasant way to start. It sets a warm, comfortable tone. Third, and this is the key, turning it into a simple question invites the other person to agree with you. It's a super low-pressure invitation. You're not asking for personal details or putting them on the spot. You're just asking them to confirm something you both see. Questions that end with, isn't it? Doesn't it? Or, right? Are perfect here. They're called tag questions, and they basically ask for a yes. The easiest answer in the world. It takes the pressure off them. And more importantly, it takes the pressure off of you. You don't have to be brilliant. You just have to be observant. Research in social psychology actually shows that we tend to overestimate how likely strangers are to reject us. Most of the time, people are surprisingly open to a small, friendly interaction. This technique is the key that unlocks the door because it's built on mutual comfort and shared experience. Now, let's make this real. I'll walk you through 3 different scenarios, step by step, showing you exactly what to say and how to keep the conversation flowing. All right, our first scenario, the local coffee shop. It's morning, you're waiting for your drink, and you're standing near someone who seems friendly. The silence is a little awkward. You want to say something. What do you do? Time to use the technique. Look around. What do you notice? Maybe the music is good. Maybe the coffee smells amazing. Maybe the place is just buzzing with energy. Let's use that one. You turn to the person next to you. Make a little eye contact. Offer a small, friendly smile and say, "Wow, it's really busy this morning, isn't it?" See what I did there? The observation is, it's busy. You both can see it. The question is, isn't it? It's a soft, gentle way to ask for their agreement. Now, you've put it out there. They'll probably respond in one of three ways. Response 1. The enthusiastic agreement. This is the best case scenario. They smile back and add to your observation. Them. It sure is. I've never seen it this packed on a Tuesday. Boom. You're in. They didn't just agree, they gave you more information to work with. It's a gift. Now your job is to show you're interested by asking a follow-up question. Follow-up option 1. Oh, really? So you come here often then? This is great because you're moving from a general topic to something about them, but it's still casual. Follow-up option 2. It must be a popular spot. Is the coffee always this good? This keeps the focus on the shared environment but invites their opinion, showing you value what they think. Follow-up option 3. Well, I hope the line moves quickly. Are you on your way to work? This shows a little empathy and opens the door to talking about your day. The key is just to listen and ask a question related to what they said. Response. Type 2. The simple agreement. This is also super common. The person is friendly but maybe a bit shy or distracted. They agree, but that's it. Them. Yeah, it is. And then they look at their phone. Don't panic and think, I failed. You absolutely did not. They engaged with you politely. Now you have a choice. You can either offer one more no-pressure statement or just let it be. Option A. Try one more time. Make one more observation. Well, whatever everyone is getting, it smells delicious. This doesn't require a response. If they smile or nod, you can just smile back. You've had a pleasant micro-interaction. Success. Option B. The polite exit. If they seem busy, just give a warm smile and a nod. If your coffee is ready, you can say, "Well, have a great day," and go, "This is not a failure." You practice starting a conversation, and that was the whole point. Response 3. No response. This is rare, but it happens. Maybe they have headphones in. Maybe they're stressed. Maybe they're just having a bad day. If you say your line and get nothing back, it's okay. Remember, their response is not about you. It's about them. In this case, don't get embarrassed or repeat yourself. Just pretend you were thinking out loud. Look away, check your phone, and move on. You took a small risk and it didn't pay off this time, but you were brave enough to try. And that's a huge win for your confidence. All right, let's switch gears to scenario 2. A professional setting, like a conference, a networking event, or your first week at a new job. This can feel way more intimidating because you want to make a good impression. But our technique works perfectly here too. Just keep your observation focused on the positive, professional aspects of the event. Imagine you're at a company mixer, standing near someone getting a drink. You can approach them, wait for a natural pause, and say with a friendly, professional smile, "This has been a great event, hasn't it? The organizers did a fantastic job." This is so safe and effective. The observation, "This is a great event," is positive and relevant. Adding, "The organizers did a fantastic job," shows you're engaged. The tag question, hasn't it? Warmly invites them to agree. Let's look at the possible responses. Response 1, the eager networker. This person is also there to connect. Them. It really has. The keynote speaker was fascinating. Did you get a chance to see her? Perfect. They've agreed and asked you a direct question. You are officially in a conversation. Your response. Yes, I did. I thought her points on mention a specific point were really insightful. What did you think? Mentioning a detail shows you were paying attention, and asking for their opinion turns the focus back to them. And if you missed it? No problem. Honesty works. Your response. I unfortunately missed that, but I heard it was excellent. I was in the breakout session on your session topic. What other talks have you enjoyed today? You acknowledge their comment and pivot to something you can both discuss. Once you have a little back and forth, you can introduce yourself. Follow-up introduction. By the way, my name is your name. I'm in the Your Department. It's great to meet you. Response 2, the reserved professional. This person is a bit more formal or maybe just introverted. Them. Yes, it's very well organized. They agree, but don't give you much to go on. This is common in professional settings, so don't be discouraged. Your next move is to ask a simple, open-ended question, one that can't be answered with just yes or no. Try asking, so what brings you to the event today? A networking classic for a reason. Or try, how have you been finding the conference so far? If it's a company event. Have you been with the company for long? These are all safe, easy questions that invite them to share a little more. Our final scenario is one I know can be scary. A public space with a total stranger. A bus stop. A park. A museum. You have less shared context, and the fear of being seen as weird can be high. This is why our technique is so crucial. The key is to keep your observation very general, safe, and clearly about the shared environment. There's a reason talking about the weather is a classic. It works. Let's say you're on a park bench on a beautiful day. Someone comes and sits on the other end. After a moment, you can turn to them and say, "Such a beautiful day, isn't it? It's nice to finally get some sun." This is the perfect opener. It's friendly, non-threatening, and impossible to disagree with. So what happens next? Response 1, the friendly stranger. Them. It really is. I've been waiting all week for a day like this. Fantastic. They've shared a little bit about themselves. Now you can ask a gentle follow-up. Follow-up 1. Me too. Do you live in the area? A totally normal and acceptable question. Follow-up 2. It's perfect park weather. Do you come here often? Follow-up 3. If they have a dog. Your dog seems to be loving it too. What's their name? People almost always love talking about their pets. Response 2. The brief nod. In public, you're more likely to get a short response. People are often in their own world. Them. Yeah. And they go back to their phone. This is not a rejection. It's just a signal that they aren't up for a chat. That is completely fine. You've already succeeded because you broke the silence and practiced your English. Just smile. Say, enjoy the sun, and go back to enjoying the park yourself. The interaction was short, positive, and complete. Troubleshooting. What if I panic? I know that even with the best technique, your brain can still hit the emergency brake. Fear can take over and the words just won't come out. What do you do then? First, just breathe. Seriously. Take one deep breath. It tells your brain to calm down. Second, remember that it's okay to be imperfect. Conversations aren't performances. In fact, being a little vulnerable can be a fantastic icebreaker. You could even say something like, "Hi, I'm practicing my English. Could I ask you a quick question?" This is honest and disarming. Most people are kind and will be happy to help. You can then ask something simple like, "Is this bus going downtown?" Or, "Do you know a good place to get coffee around here?" And if someone says something you don't understand, don't just nod along. It's perfectly okay to say, "I'm sorry. Could you say that a bit slower? I'm still learning." This isn't a weakness, it's a sign of confidence. It shows you're serious about communicating well, and people respect that. So there you have it. My simple, powerful, two-part formula to start any English conversation. Make a positive observation and ask a simple question. We've seen how to use it at a coffee shop, at a work event, and in a public park. We've covered how to handle different responses and what to do when you feel that flash of panic. This technique is your key. It's the tool that will help you break through that wall of silence. It takes all the pressure off. You don't have to be clever or funny or perfect. You just have to be observant and friendly. But here's the thing. Watching this video isn't enough. The only way to build real confidence is to take action. So here is my challenge to you. This week, just once, I want you to try it. Find one low-pressure situation. At the grocery store, waiting for an elevator, anywhere. And use this technique just one time. Observe something positive and ask a simple tag question. See what happens. It might be a 2-minute chat, or it might just be a smile and a nod. Either way, you will have done it. You will have proven to yourself that you can. When you do it, come back to this video and leave a comment. Tell me what you observed, what you said, and how it felt. I read every single comment, and I want to hear your story. Sharing your experience will inspire everyone else in this community to be brave too. You have the tool. You have the knowledge. Now you just need one moment of courage. You've got this. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more lessons from me to help you speak English with confidence. I'll see you in the next one.